I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
Secret Ball Stories.
Welcome to Prattle World. I'm your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan. And in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. And welcome to another edition of Secret Ball Stories, where I invite guests to count down a personal top 5 list in high-fidelity fashion. And today, I have a self-confessed crazy cat lady to talk about our top 5 movie cats, good and bad, kind of a sequel to our Good Bad Movie Dogs podcast. So I have the crazy cat lady, the ultimate crazy cat lady. It's Séana Cooke. Hello there.
Hello, Spider-Dan. Thank you for having me. I'm wearing my Garfield dress.
Oh,
in
excellent.
Celebration.
In theme. Thank you very much. Do you also not like Mondays?
I hate Mondays.
Who does?
Every day's the same, though. I don't really know. What day is it today?
We're on Thursday. Don't ask me how I know, but I just do. I mean, I currently should have been in Florida sunning it up at the moment.
Oh, no.
But yes, so that didn't happen.
Oh, that top trumps my woe of the week. I'm supposed to be
really?
in Wales, you know.
Oh, that's still good. Wales is good.
Yeah.
I've not been as much as I should, but I do like Wales.
Florida's pretty cool, though.
But yeah, to be fair, I went like a couple of years ago anyway with my dad. I was going with this time. It would have been pretty much the same holiday anyway.
Silver linings.
Never mind. Moving on. And work forced me to take the full 3 weeks off anyway. What are you going to do? That's why I'm keeping busy doing this stuff. So we're here to talk cats. I imagine you like cats, don't you?
Oh, you know me. I love cats. I love them. I love dogs as well. I used to have 2 Rottweilers, but I'm obsessed with cats. I think they get quite a bad rep, really. But if you're a cat person, you really are a cat person. But I think a lot of people don't really understand cats unless you have one and you have like a close bond with your cats. I'm currently joined by one of my cats. She's sat with me, probably waiting for food. But
I love cats. I think I do prefer cats to dogs. I do like dogs. I've had a good relationship with dogs, you know, for the most part. I think there's something about, I'm a bit more of a kind of chill person. I think cats are a little bit more chill. And I just kind of, I feel like I've got a bit more of a bond with them than say a dog, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is what I mean. I think they are quite misinterpreted a lot of times. Dogs are kind of portrayed to be man's best friend. But I think I like cats because they are arrogant and you can't really tame them. And that's what I like about them. That's one of their quirks.
I mean, we've all seen Tiger King, haven't we? So, and you did a fantastic bit of makeup as the Tiger King, Joe Exotic.
Oh yes, Joe Exotic holding my ginger cat.
I know. Just
Bob.
You've got to be very careful, you know, or you're gonna have to put a bullet in that motherfucker's eyes, you know. Between the eyes. I'm sure you don't want to do that.
We've hit the tone now. I wasn't sure if swearing was on the cards, but
Welcome.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I think especially in media, we're going to talk about movies. I think cats do have a bit of a bad rep, don't they? I think they tend to be the villains of the piece.
They do. However, the films I've chosen, you were talking about kind of not being mainstream. Sorry, I am that.
That's fine. I'll do the non-mainstream stuff.
Yes, I'm very glad for that. And I might take you up on some of the films that you're suggesting to just try to broaden my film knowledge.
Yeah.
But I think some of the films I've chosen are classics. Most of them are Disney films, and I didn't realise that. But maybe not the Disney films you'd expect. But
okay,
but yes.
Interesting. So we've decided that you're going to do good cats.
Yes.
Represented in films, and I'll do the bad cats. So I think you probably have the harder job than I've had, I think.
I mean, I think there are a lot of bad cats in a lot of films, but I don't think they're as standouty roles as some of the cats I've chosen. Well, we'll see. Yeah, quite a lot of films actually do have very good cat protagonists. So that's something. Anyway, I was looking into kind of media culture and how that might affect cat welfare, but I think things are changing quite a lot for cats. social media portrays cats all the time in a lot of positive lights. Cat videos are everywhere, and I think that's done a lot of good for cats, actually. So
I think so too, because you see them, being comfortable, being silly, falling off of things, getting themselves into all sorts of trouble. I think that that endears a cat to you. When you see the kind of standard cat hissing at people, you're not not endeared to that cat particularly. But I guess it's the same with dogs as well. Like if the dog barks at you, growls at you, you're kind of not going to feel that way.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do think that the cats have been linked to kind of like the supernatural and being bad luck, especially black cats being bad luck and things like that has led to black cats not getting adopted as much or things like that.
Definitely. I'm actually going to talk. One of the films I've chosen has got a black cat protagonist. So I'm going to talk a little bit about black cats and where that myth, where that kind of superstition has come from as well, and how it's perceived in different cultures.
Interesting. Just before we start, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about Bob, your Greek cat.
Oh, little Bob. What a crazy story. Here we go. So I went on holiday to Crete last year, lovely Greek island, and there are lots of feral cats, as I'm sure you know, in Greece. And I befriended quite a lot of the cats at the resort I was staying at with my partner, who'd never been abroad before. Really? Might I add. And he is not, before he met me, he wasn't really interested in cats. And now, fast forward 4 years, we have 3.
Babies.
And he loves cats. Yes. Oh, fur babies. The final night we were on holiday, I came across a very, very poorly little ginger kitten. And he was just kind of lying out in the open, struggling to open his eyes, wheezing. And it broke my heart. And we were meant to be going out for the evening, but I decided I can't leave this kitten. So I scooped him up and basically spent the night cradling him, wondering what to do. And then the next morning we contacted a local cat charity that we found on the internet, which is run by a woman from the UK who now lives in Crete.
Oh, really?
That's goals, absolute goals right there. Animal charity goals. And she recommended a vet to take this little kitten to. So we spent literally our last Euros. We were flying home 6 p.m. that evening. We took the kitten, Bob, we took him to the vets in the morning with our last Euros, spent it on him getting treated, some antibiotics, and then the vet took him in, and the woman from the animal charity took him in, and then fast forward a couple of months later, and my family friends set us up a GoFundMe page so people can donate money so we can bring Bob home to the UK. Absolutely bonkers, and something I never imagined would happen. And then little Bob arrived just before Christmas, and now he's a little tiger now.
I've seen all your videos and his on his Instagram. What's his Instagram again?
A Greek cat named Bob.
A Greek cat named Bob. Definitely follow that Instagram. But I'll be honest, you are my cat conservation hero. Honestly, I think that's an amazing thing you've done, and something that probably not a lot of people would do, go on holiday and do, just adopt a stray cat, an unwell cat, just at random. Obviously, you care about cats a lot, and I think it really shows. And the fact that the GoFundMe page, went past its, the amount you needed to raise is a great thing. It just shows how much other people care about cats as well. Not
amazing, yeah, it blew my mind. But obviously, I rescue kittens here as well. I'm very pro rescuing cats, not just from abroad. Obviously there's a lot of cats in the UK that need homes, and I am that person that owns a cat trap, a humane cat trap, and then I'll set it up in areas that I know there to be definitely humane, and then sometimes take it into work because there's a lot of feral cats at work, and trap them and try and rehome them, because a lot of feral kittens, they don't do very well in the wild. I mean, they can survive, but especially over winter, it's very difficult for them. So I'd much rather them go to a loving home.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So good on you for doing what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. So keep it up and keep doing all that cool work. But anyway, we've talked about your love of cats far too long. Now,
Far too long.
we've got to get back on track. So,
Right.
we're here again to talk top 5 good, bad movie cats, specifically movie cats, because we could have been here months, weeks, and months just looking.
There are so many
more
cats.
Factual cats, you name it, anything.
Yeah.
Cat people, cat this, cat that. Hybrid cats, ligers, tigers, lions, you name it. We could have gone mental. So I'd like you to go first with your very first good cat, if you will.
Okay, good cat. Now, I'm just going to say now, I've tried to go for domesticated cats, not tigers or such, like normal cats.
Household cats.
To an extent, and we'll talk about it in a bit. But the first cat I have chosen is from one of my favourite childhood films. I rented it so much from the video store that the woman from the video store gave me the film when I was about 6. She said, have this film. Just have it. Just keep the film. I'm sick of seeing you. It's Sassy from Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. She's a brilliant little cat. It was filmed in 1995. She was voiced by Sally Field. So she's an anthropomorphic cat. For anyone that hasn't seen the film, please go and watch the film. It's incredible. Yeah, she is a Himalayan cat. She's a house cat. And you know the story. You know the story? Oh, God. I don't want any spoilers, but I suppose that's what this is about.
To be fair, we're talking like almost 30 years old now, this film, surely.
A classic, yeah. It was actually based on, it was originally a film. I don't know about the original film, but I think
the original Disney film was called
The Incredible Journey.
I think it is on Disney Plus, along with Homeward Bound. If you did want to give it an old watch, I've been watching the Clone Wars this morning, so not cat related whatsoever. But yes, it's they get the pets get kind of separated from the family.
They do.
It's like kind of like a Home Alone thing without murderous burglars for the most. It is an incredible journey to their new home to find their family again, basically.
And there's a second one, Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco, which was filmed in 1996, released around that time. That's another fantastic film with Sassy the cat. She's a smart-mouthed, feisty, overly dramatic, sarcastic feline, and I think she really portrays cats in a good light. Yeah, I think she gets on well with the dogs as well, which I like.
Yeah, there's like 2 dogs that she could be like, I hate you, you're dogs, but she welcomes them. She's a bit of a prickly pear, I guess you could say. Sometimes maybe doesn't get along with them, or is a bit standoffish. Maybe is a better word. And that's fine. That's just sometimes how people are. And I think that's good. And Sally Field, Oscar-winning Sally Field, Aunt May at one point as well. In that movie, she's an excellent choice. I'm not sure who plays the Golden Retriever, but I think the American Bulldog was
Chance. Chance.
Who?
This is really underprepared for me. What's the bulldog's name? What's his name?
Oh, I can't remember off the top.
Chance.
I know it's Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
In the Dogs podcast, funnily enough, this film came up, and we talked about it, and I've forgotten everything about it now. Absolutely. I
feel really underprepared. Chance, and someone's going to be screaming it out.
My friend Natalie, we did literally we talked about this a few months ago, like 2 months ago or something, and now I've forgotten everything about that film and all the things we talked about. I should have listened to the podcast that I did with her before I watched this.
What an emotional roller coaster of a film! I mean, that film taught me to cry, to grieve, to love. As a child, I was obsessed.
I mean, I thought we just automatically.
Wow, I think that was the first film I remember as a child crying my eyes out at. And nothing bad really happens. It's very, very happy in the end, but there's just moments where you're on the edge of your seat. And what a Disney classic.
It is. I think it's a very emotional in a good way. It's like a good cry. It's like a nice.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a really good choice. The way that it shows that dogs and cats do get along. There's not always this hatred between these two animals, or they don't always get along. Because there's a ton of those videos again on like YouTube and social media where you see cats and dogs absolutely loving each other. So I think that's quite it's quite a good important message. But yeah, I thought that was a fantastic choice. Is there anything else you want to say about it particularly? Or say about Sassy?
Oh, Sassy. No, I think probably I should really, but other than she was played by at least 10 different cats,
Okay.
which is
really?
very interesting. Yeah, the main cat that played her was called Tiki. She was the main animal actor, but yes, 10 different Himalayan cats. And what I will say is a Himalayan cat is a very expensive breed of cat. So you do not want to be losing a Himalayan cat somewhere in the American wilderness.
And I mean, they had 10 of them, so that just shows you the amount of budget they have for that movie. They have 10 of those very expensive cats on set. So I wouldn't want to be the animal handler looking after them in case I lost one.
I've said it. I've literally just realised that Shadow is the golden retriever, and Chance is the other doggo.
I forgot. I totally forgot.
Silly me. It's been a long time.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great choice. I think it's a great movie. I need to watch it again. Like I said, I'd watch it after the last podcast I did with Natalie. But yeah, no, fantastic, excellent choice.
Thank you very much.
Are you ready for my first bad cat?
I'm going to write these down because I'm going to have to do some research on them because I guarantee I probably won't have heard of any of them.
No, some of them are fairly obscure.
Okay.
Even for my particular case, I did a good digging, good deep dive into the cat genre, the bad cat genre.
Lovely.
So my number 5 bad cat is Rufus from Herbert West, The Reanimator. So this is a horror film. It's kind of like a modern day and a horror film about a scientist who has invented a formula that kind of reanimates dead tissue and dead things. So he's still trying to work it out. He's still trying to figure out what it does and how much to give like a person or an animal and things like that. But there are some pretty bad side effects to this serum. So this is like one of these proper like gory splatter movies. He moves in with this guy called Dan. Instantly, Dan has a cat called Rufus, and he instantly takes a disliking to Herbert West because he's this arrogant, kind of full of himself doctor who thinks he's just brilliant. He then moves in, and his girlfriend doesn't like Herbert West. Megan, I think she's called Megan. She doesn't like Herbert West. She doesn't like the cat. Doesn't like Herbert West. He's hissing at him. He's swiping at him, running away, not without good reason because he's not a great guy. And later, Megan finds the corpse of Rufus in the fridge.
Oh,
yeah. So the cat is dead, and they're like, "What the fuck, Herbert West?" And they're like, "Well, I found him." He says, I found the cat in the dustbin. He got his head inside a jar and suffocated to death. So I brought him inside, put him in the fridge so he didn't go, it didn't smell, and that you didn't want to find him like that because it would have been very upsetting. And he's like, "Well, this is upsetting. Why have you got him in the fridge?" And it's like, what was I supposed to do? One of the great lines is like, what did you want me to do? Leave a note. What would it say? Cat dead, details later. Like one of the best lines in the film. Later that night, doesn't stop there. Later that night, Dan's awoken in his bedroom to sounds of a struggle. So he runs down to the basement. And he finds Herbert West struggling with something, and he's throwing it back and forth. And he's trying to get it. It's on his back, and he's like trying to throw it off himself. He's like, "Help me!" And then we realise it's a cat, and it's Rufus the cat. After the struggle, they manage to throw the cat against the wall and kind of just. I think it kind of just severs the cat's spine. So when Herbert West gives these injections, the side effects are that they go on this kind of almost like murderous rampage. Their strength is increased. It basically turns into kind of like zombies, effectively. They kill him, and then Dan doesn't really believe him. He's like, I've managed to conquer brain death in living beings with this solution, with this reagent, he calls it. And he goes, "Right, well, would you agree the cat is now dead? It's like guts are hanging out. Its spine's back. It's got a broken back and everything." He's like, "Right." And he injects and he's like, "Don't expect it to dance. It's got a broken back." And then Rufus comes back to life, and it's like, proper.
Sorry, what's it like?
It's like this. Proper. This cat is just in pieces. So, like, what I found with the last podcast on bad dogs, they weren't necessarily bad dogs. It was more like bad owners leading to bad dogs. I think it's somewhere that the cats. It's a similar situation. There's a lot of kind of like vengeance-seeking cat movies that I found.
Yeah.
So when the owners have been killed or something's gone wrong, and the cats will then, or they've been, they've learned to eat human flesh, but someone's taught them, and then they learn the animal ways and things like that. So this kind of fits in, and I wanted to do like a zombie cat. I wanted to, get in the whole zombie cat genre.
Oh my God! Like as if that's a genre. That's blown my mind.
I guess
the hell.
It's a very
Jesus
small
Christ.
I wanted to include Pet Sematary because
I love that film.
It's an amazing film. I've not seen the remake, but I love.
No, I haven't. I love the original, but yeah, the cat is definitely the main antagonist, I'd say, and the source of what's to come. Yeah.
Also the evil Church, I think it's called, or Churchill, I think the name of the cat is.
Yes.
But yeah, I would have included that, but I thought maybe a little too obvious. I think most people probably would have gone with that as their first choice. But I went for a Rufus from the Reanimator. I think he's got a better name as well, Rufus.
Wow. I'm definitely rooting for Rufus. That was a brilliant synopsis of the film. I haven't really done any synopsis of my films because I'm hoping people know the films that I've chosen. Yeah. And some of them, like I say, I've not really watched in a while. But no, I'm rooting for Rufus all the way. He got killed.
Yeah, it's proper sad. And again, we don't know if Herbert West actually did it or not, actually killed the cat. Or whether it did, because you're not sure, because he's a dodgy scientist. He's like a weird, creepy Dr. Frankenstein type. So he could have easily done that to for something to experiment on.
Oh no. I have to say, I don't like watching films where cats are killed. I'm so triggered. And it's ridiculous. I'm nearly 27 years old, but I can't. There's something in my brain that just can't deal with. I have literally walked out of cinemas before where
the cat's died. No, I'm off.
Honestly, it's pathetic. I know it's pathetic, but I can't get over it. I can't bring myself to watch something.
There's literally websites out there like Does the Dog Die? I'm pretty sure that's a website where if there's a dog in it, you can see if the dog dies.
That's me, definitely.
I imagine there's probably a similar one for the cats. I imagine Does the Cat Die? So that might be quite a helpful website for yourself if you're wanting to avoid cat murder.
I'm no spoilers here, but The Walking Dead is one of my favourite programmes ever. And I don't know if you watch it or not, but there was a cat that appeared in one of the episodes recently, and I was so worried. I was like, this is going to spoil The Walking Dead for me forever if this cat is killed, like a domestic cat. There's a tiger also in it, another series, but I'm not going to spoil that. Yeah. But no, the cat did not get killed. It was just a nice, harmless cat there. And it trotted off. But thank God, because that would have spoiled The Walking Dead for me, and I've been really upset.
It's a pretty bleak show, so I wouldn't be surprised if they would go to that length to make it even bleaker.
I know. Oh.
To be honest, you could probably, if you skip maybe the first 10, 15 minutes of the film, you probably could avoid all the cat murder stuff, and then it's just zombies anyway. But yeah, so that's all you need to know. He has this thing, injects the cat just to prove it, and then literally the scene after they're injecting humans with it. So if you like your zombies and your gore,
I do like my zombies.
It's a good little movie. It's based on a H.P. Lovecraft story as well. So if you like your Lovecraftian things, that's definitely one of the main shouts. The director actually died quite recently, which is quite sad. I really like his work. He does a lot of Lovecraftian stuff and adaptations and stuff, which is really, really good. Okay, are you ready for your next one?
I am, and it's a controversial choice. I'm still not entirely sure myself whether this cat is good or not. I'm kind of on the fence, so I'll let the listeners decide. But there's quite a lot of academic writing about this particular character because it is such a I'll give you the name. Well, it's the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, and I was sort of in a very divisive figure from the film. The Cheshire Cat is it's a tabby British short-haired cat. That is what the cat is. Popularised by Lewis Carroll in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, written in 1865. Gender is male cat, and you all probably know the story, but from time to time its body disappears. And I've got a little background story about where the phrase grinning like a Cheshire Cat is believed to have come from. It's believed to have come from Cheshire, England, where obviously there's lots of farms and hence lots of milk, maybe lots of mice at the farms. So all the cats around there are grinning all the time, and that's where the phrase is believed to originate from. So that's a Cheshire Cat.
As well. A lot of chickens.
A lot of chickens, yeah. I haven't actually... Cheshire. Where is Cheshire? Terrible. I'm so bad at geography.
I'll be honest, my geography is terrible.
Where's Cheshire?
It's not far. I'm pretty sure it's not
It's
far.
near here. I'm sure it's near.
Yeah.
Cheshire.
I mean, if anybody from Cheshire listens or knows where Cheshire is, please write in.
Okay, Staffordshire. Is Staffordshire like on the border of Cheshire? I've only lived here 5 years, so I should know this. Anyway,
Probably.
we digress. That's really awkward.
So anyway, back to the cat.
Yes. So obviously the Cheshire Cat engages Alice in amusing and perplexing conversation and raises a lot of philosophical points and quite often makes Alice a little bit agitated. That's what he does. That's kind of his role. However, he has been described to be a guiding spirit for Alice because he does direct her to the March Hare's house and the tea party, and then inadvertently directs her to the Queen of Hearts and leads her to her final destination, basically, and then roots for her when she's at the Queen of Hearts croquet party. He's kind of on Alice's side there. So he's a very dastardly but likeable character. And I think that's why I think he is ultimately a good cat. And I like the idea that he's kind of this higher being, maybe a spirit of Wonderland. But he is quite often portrayed to be a Disney villain, which makes me sad. But he is the Queen of Hearts cat. So that could be why.
Okay. So he's been treated poorly, maybe. Maybe he's been smothered. She likes him too much, dressing up and stuff.
Well, no, she does want to decapitate him in one scene in which he just disappears and leaves his head.
A ghost, do you think?
I think he is. This is what I think he is. I think he's like a device within Wonderland. He's the one that tells Alice that everyone is mad here, and he stays true to that phrase.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice because it does offer up quite a bit of debate. Because you could say maybe that he's manipulating Alice to her destiny, or he's sending her there just to get rid of the Queen, so he doesn't behead the Cheshire Cat, and so he doesn't get beheaded.
Well, you can't behead the Cheshire Cat. That's the curious thing. Yeah.
And I think maybe like constant grinning, I think is not necessarily like a positive thing. Like if someone just is constantly grinning all the time, you're gonna think they're a bit off.
It's because he's mad. He's mad. Everyone's mad.
True. And to be mad or to be mentally ill is not necessarily a bad thing. We don't put people in prison who are mentally ill. So.
Very true. I think he's it depends on the version really, because the first animation of the 1951 Disney film, the cartoon, the one that really does probably still, I've not watched it in years, but it used to give me nightmares, but I love the Cheshire Cat, but the Queen of Hearts definitely gave me nightmares. Yeah. He's a lot more of an antagonist in that film. He's voiced by Sterling Holloway. I don't really know a lot of his work. I've not seen this version, but in 1999 there was a TV film. The Cheshire Cat was voiced by Whoopi Goldberg.
Really?
I need to see this. I need to find this version. You can't tell me that a bad cat will be voiced by Whoopi Goldberg. But 2010, the Tim Burton version, Stephen Fry. I mean, top trumps.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's still a tricky one for me because I'm just like you could go either way with it. You could absolutely go either way with it.
I definitely think Tim Burton took the Cheshire Cat and turned him into more of a device for the film, more rather than an antagonist or protagonist. Yeah. Kind of a neutral character that. So like you say, he can't be defeated really because even the Queen of Hearts can't harm him. So he has nothing to lose really, but he does seem to guide Alice in a helpful way quite a lot of the time.
Gets her to where she needs to be.
Yeah.
But is that for his own means? Is that for his own devices?
Well, it could be.
Again, we can't, like many of the characters in Alice in Wonderland, they're very hard to kind of pin down. You can't really, you kind of get a gist of them, but you can't really say what they're all about or what they're necessarily thinking all the time.
I love it. I love the ambiguity of it all. That's why I think I love the films. And I've not actually read the book. I'm terrible Perhaps that will enlighten me some more if I read the book.
That was actually one of the first proper novels or books I read, like when I was in primary school, because we were going to do a play. It was kind of a mashup of Through the Looking Glass and Alice in Wonderland, and I was Humpty Dumpty because I've got a massive head.
Of course.
So they were like, yeah, he's got big head, so he's perfect. I remember I got a certificate, I think, because of my comedy performance. Because we put a joke in, me and one of the girls, there was 2 Alices as well, just to make things even more bizarre.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We had a kind of weird ending where it was like, there's just been 2 Alices all along. Basically, they just couldn't decide who to cast, and they were just like, just cast them both. They're both fine. And they're like, well, it's all weird in Wonderland. Woo. So there was a line where it's like, you know the song where it's like, Alice, Alice, who the fuck is Alice?
Yes.
So we said, Alice, Alice, who the heck is Alice?
That's so funny.
This is in primary school. Again, this is like late primary school that we're thinking this. And every time we'd said that line, the audience would erupt because they all thought we were going to say fuck, and we didn't.
Oh, I've got a funny story about that too. On TripAdvisor, I actually got a couple of complaints because I played the Queen of Hearts in the Panto at Alton Towers 2018. It feels like such a long time ago. And the opening line after my song was, Alice, Alice, who the family show is Alice? And it got a massive laugh, but obviously there's quite, a couple of people didn't find that too funny. I think some shows I really emphasise the.
Well, I mean you didn't write it. You're just performing it. You're performing it. I was doing a panto, and it was the reverse happened. Someone heckled me. I was doing what was it, Red Riding Hood, and I was like, "Oh no, kids! Granny's been gobbled up by the wolf. What am I gonna do?" And one of the kids went, "Kill yourself." And I was absolutely. I think it's the best heckle I've ever had, and I was just like, I don't know how to respond to that, so I'm just going to.
Oh my god!
Just going to carry on. Again, we were talking. This is a panto where we were touring around, kind of like working men's clubs and stuff. So.
Oh right, okay.
So that's kind of the audience that we get.
That's the level. Oh wow!
That's what you're going to get. But yeah, that was a funny one. But no, I think Cheshire Cat is. Yeah, I think it's a good choice, but again, you could have it on either list.
Either list. I think he's kind of neutral, but he, again, like I keep saying that word, he is one of the main devices of the film that takes Alice to where she needs to be. He's a very fascinating character.
Poses a lot of questions.
Yeah. Very philosophical.
Maybe he's more like an anti-hero, less of a good or bad cat. Somewhere in the middle. Falls in that kind of that grey area. Very nice, very good choice, I think. Yeah,
thanks.
A lot of questions that the audience will have to answer, and that your choice has, much like the Cheshire Cat, has posited more questions. So
I feel like it would be like a film studies coursework question.
Yeah, and there wouldn't be a wrong answer. So no matter what you said,
no, definitely.
But no, I think that's a good choice. I think it's one of the more famous cats in literature, movies, culture. And again, depends on your point of view and how you perceive that character. Excellent choice. Okay, so we're going back to we've had the grey area. Now we're going back to the dark side. Okay.
Oh dear.
So I'm going to pick out a Japanese movie. Getting cultural. So I'm going to go for Blanche in House, or Hausu, from 1977.
Okay.
Now this, I wanted to watch this because the director again died quite recently. So that this is I'm going to try this. I'm going to try and pronounce this as best I can. Nobuhiko Obayashi. So he passed away recently. So I was thinking about watching this anyway. So I kind of went, right, now that he's died, I should kind of honour him. This is probably one of the most cat shit crazy films I've ever seen. It's bizarre. It's just balls to the wall, weird. There's not really much of a plot. It's just like odd things continue to happen. Do you want a kind of list of some of the weird stuff that happens in the film?
Yeah, hit me. Go for it.
Okay, so a girl is slowly eaten by a piano.
Right.
A severed head comes out of a well and bites a girl on the bum. A man turns into a bunch of bananas.
Okay.
A girl is beaten by a pair of mattresses, stripped, and then turned into a doll.
God.
And now this is one of the weirder things, but the way the film presents it, it's very normal. It's a bear is dressed up like a chef and serving noodles.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's nothing to do with the plot or anything else. It's just there's a guy at a restaurant that just happens to be a bear next to the chef who's also dressed as a chef, and basically is there as well. This is a bizarre film. I'll try and give you a plot, but it follows this kind of weird, strange, dreamlike logic.
Okay.
And you kind of, it goes from like pure hilarity to one moment to kind of this weirdly haunting kind of atmosphere as well at the same time. So the plot is several schoolgirls who all have brilliant names, which kind of encapsulate each of their characters. So one's called like Gorgeous, and she's the beautiful girl. One's called Fantasy, who likes to daydream. One is called Mac, and she likes to eat. I imagine that's like McDonald's or something. There's all these wacky and weird ones. There's one of them's called Kung Fu because she's really like headstrong and good at martial arts, and so on and so on and so on. So even if you're they're very minimal kind of character traits, and that's it. That's all the kind of the depth you get to their characters. But basically, the summer holidays, and this girl has found out that her dad is remarrying. Her mum has died, and they're remarrying. Doesn't like that idea, so decides to take all of her friends over to her aunt's house, who she's not seen in years. She's like, "Oh, I remember her. She's got a nice house. Let's go and stay with her." So they go, and before they go, they're met by this white cat. It's like a white Persian cat, like a Dr. Evil type Persian cat.
Nice, yeah.
And it's got these twinkly eyes, and there's something a little, something a little ethereal about the cat, like kind of spiritual and ghost-like. But she kind of adopts the cat, and it's always kind of, it's a lot like the Cheshire Cat in a way. It's guiding her through the story, like guides her. It's sitting on her train seat. It's showing her where the house is, various other things. Don't worry, we're getting to the house very soon. They get into the house, they meet the aunt. That's what the film's called. It's House. So they get to the house, meet the aunt, and she's very welcoming. She's like, "Yeah, come in, no problem." And she has this kind of backstory about her. There was a man she loved during the war who basically, she said, "I promise I'll always wait for you. I'll never leave this house. Me and my cat will always be here, waiting for you to come back. We'll always wait here." Turns out, never came back. She died, but she didn't know she died, and now she has to devour unmarried girls and women.
Who? The cat?
The cat and the woman are kind of these ghostly spirits, and they have to devour unmarried women. Yeah, it's a bit mad. It's a little mad, to say the least. There's a lot of special effects that I imagine at the time were quite groundbreaking and quite, avant-garde. But now it's something you could just do on like Photoshop. These are like, when you're being a filmmaker for the first time, you're like, star wipe, all this sort of stuff. Like the weird little special effects are like these, all sorts of kind of crazy weird stuff. Like there's hand-drawn animation, there's all sorts of like the body parts come off and fly, the faces peel off and there's flames underneath. There's lasers shooting out piano keys and things like that. Just bizarre, weird stuff. But I think it kind of takes a genius director to do something that doesn't make any sense in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of like, to make that little sense of a film, you kind of have to be some sort of auteur.
Yeah.
To get that much out of it. And I really enjoyed it. It's mental. It's absolutely mental. And you kind of come out of it going, what did I just watch? But
so is it a horror? What's the genre?
It's a horror movie. It's like a horror comedy.
It is horror.
Yeah, it's a horror comedy. But again,
an anime? It's
not anime, no. It's live action. It sounds like...
Oh, it is. It's live action. It does sound like an anime.
It does sound like an anime, but it is definitely live action. But it's got elements, those kind of Japanese elements. I've watched some crazy Japanese films in my time, and this is definitely in the top 10, absolutely. But yeah, it's not an anime. It would probably make more sense if it was an anime. But the cat is like in almost every frame of this film. Like you can't move for this cat, and she's definitely a crazy cat lady, much like you, this aunt, because every framed photo she has, or picture she has, is of this cat.
Amazing. What kind of cat is it?
So it's like this white Persian kind of...
Oh, white Persian, yeah, you did say, yeah. Stereotypical evil cat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Blofeld, Doctor Evil.
Dr. Evil, yeah.
In fact, I've got another one on the list that's coming up next.
Ooh.
So bear in mind. But yeah, this cat is always kind of there or watching as these like murders and deaths take place. So she kind of works as kind of like a familiar, or like you said, like much like a Cheshire Cat, like a spirit guide type thing. But it's she's just like, there's a bit where the cat turns into a picture on the wall and then grows into this demonic cat and then fills the room up with
What? Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's got these laser eyes and all sorts of weird stuff. But the cat is like the star of the show, the star of the film. You see the cat more than anything else. So that's why the cat is so kind of iconic with this film.
I'm really interested in watching just the visual. How is this a film? What?
It's, yeah. I don't even know what more else I can say about it. It's just a bizarre kind of mental film, and it has to be seen to be believed. Again, I don't think I can spoil it, really, because it's just a series of weird and wacky events. And the schoolgirls in it are very likable, very nice. They're very much like, tee kind of like Japanese schoolgirls, stereotypically so. But I think it was a good film. I think it's well directed. Again, the effects have dated quite a bit, but it kind of also gives it a kind of weird charm, like a kitsch charm. But yeah, that was Blanche from House, 1977.
Blanche. So who was Blanche? Is that the name of the aunt?
That's
Blanche.
the name of the cat. That's the name of the cat.
Oh, the fantastic Blanche. The only other Blanche I know is the one that was the lady from Coronation Street, like the old woman Blanche with the big glasses.
Imagine if she died and haunted Deirdre.
Oh, what a fantastic name for a cat. Blanche.
I imagine it's because it's a white cat. Like all the characters are named like fantasy because they're Deirdre.
I know, I love it though. I love it.
Blanche, blank, white cat.
Yeah. Blanche. Well, Blanche is white, isn't it, in French?
Yeah,
but
I believe so.
I'm still picturing the old lady from Coronation Street. Blanche.
You know what? She doesn't look too dissimilar when she starts off. She's in a wheelchair. She's got white hair. But yeah, it's very very creepy imagery from the aunt because she's always in this kind of in this Japanese wedding gown, and she's constant. The more of the girl she eats, the younger she gets, and she starts to kind of look like the main character, gorgeous in the film. So yeah, this is way before The Ring and all that other stuff. This is your original Japanese haunted house story.
What year was it?
1977.
Oh wow! So quite old then.
Yeah, fairly old. And so was he. That's probably why he died recently. God rest his soul. Nobuhiko Obayashi. What a great film. What a great evil cat.
Fabulous.
Yes. So that was my fourth evil cat. Moving down our list. This is your number 3, I think.
Yeah, my number 3. Another basic bitch film because I'm really not that. I've really not seen many crazy films. Not many out there films. This is a film that a lot of people have told me to watch because I'm a big Marvel fan. I don't know loads about the Marvel sort of universe. I know you do, so you can help me fill in a lot of the gaps. But it is a film that I hadn't watched until last month, actually, and I fell in love with it. And I've heard mixed reviews about the film, but actually, I think it's up there, one of my favourites, and quite a lot of it is because of Goose the Cat from Captain Marvel, who, technically, if we're going to go for technicalities, yes, not really a cat, however, does appear to be a cat for the most part of the film, so I think it does count. But obviously, Goose is an alien species. Goose is a flurkin. I was trying to do some research on flurkins, and I don't know where they're from. Where are they from?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure myself, to be honest. I have read the comic where they introduce Goose is kind of her cat. In the comics, Goose is actually called Chewie.
Goose is called Chewie after Chewbacca.
That's right. I think.
But in the
I think they
in the
film
because
they didn't want to cross-contaminate their franchises.
No, they didn't, and they also named it quite aptly after Goose Bradshaw from Top Gun because it's a very Top Gun feely film. So I quite like that bit of info, but you already knew that, so God.
Yeah, but other people might not, though, so that's good.
Ha-ha.
So what is it specifically about Goose that...
Well, for a start, I didn't expect Goose to be an alien creature. The twist really tickled me, and what a fantastic cat. And also, what the hell? Like, I never expected Goose to be the reason that Nick Fury lost an eye. And then he kept Goose at the end of the film. He kind of grew. What I think I love the most about the film is Nick Fury's love of the cat. And it was just...
It's a bit of a softer Nick Fury as well. He's not been through all the hardship and heartache.
Yeah.
That kind of, typifies his character in the modern day. Because this is set way back in the 90s, this film.
Yes. I thought it was the 80s, but yeah, you're probably right, the 90s, yeah. But I'm not going to go into the whole...
early 90s, so...
I'm not going to go into the whole story of the film because I'm sure a lot of people have seen Captain Marvel. If you haven't, I would recommend watching it. I loved it. But yeah, Goose is responsible for permanently blinding Nick Fury's left eye with her claws. That's another interesting thing. Goose is a female, but some fun cat knowledge. The likelihood of Goose being a female cat is very unlikely because most ginger cats are male.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's to do with the X chromosome. So the ginger gene is on the X chromosome, but male cats only need one of the X chromosomes to become ginger, whereas females need two. So it's very rare that you'll find ginger cats in general, but complete ginger cats will almost always be male. You might get a ginger cat that's ginger but with a lot of white on them, and that will probably be more likely to be female. But yeah, I digress. Little cat knowledge there.
I think Goose is a really good choice. I think in the comics, I think it's Rocket Raccoon who reveals that Goose or Chewie is a flurkin because he's like, oh my god, it's a flurkin, like the Skrull. I think it's Talos in the film. He's like, oh no, that's not a cat, it's a flurkin, stay away. And then it opens its jaws and it's got this kind of, again, like Lovecraftian tentacles and stuff.
Tentacles, one of its superpowers. Pocket dimension, superhuman durability. They've got a lot of superpowers. They've got a lot of stuff going for them, Flurkin. And the fact that they always kind of disguise themselves to look like cats is amazing. And I think my cats could all be Flurkins, but and they've got a very good judge of character. They don't usually like humans, and they can very easily differentiate between friends and foes. Right. So, which I think are good.
Like animals anyway.
Yeah. Much like cats, I have found this. A lot of my cats, they've got a very good judge of character, especially when it comes to boyfriends. I've found that in the past.
I think Goose is a good shout. I think they might have done a little bit more in the comics. I'll be honest, I've not read them. Captain Marvel, I love the character of Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, Ms. Marvel, Binary, all the different names she's had. She's created by Stan Lee, so she's been around a very, very long time since. She's had a lot of ups and downs in her the writing of her, and in the representation of women. When the women's lib movement came along, Ms. Marvel was one of the main characters when they started writing female-led superhero books. She was one of the flagship titles. So a very important character for that kind of movement.
Amazing.
Along with the Cat and who else was there? It was like Mockingbird and a few others. Kind of were bit. She-Hulk as well was a big one. Spider-Woman, initially they started off as kind of like, let's just do a female version of the male hero. But over time, obviously, they developed and became very much their own characters and did their own.
Oh, can I just say that Captain Marvel is a million times, but we're not getting into a Marvel debate here, but I don't really like Captain America. I just find him a bit bland.
Fair enough.
Captain Marvel's badass.
Yeah, I think there's some argument there for Captain America. We could do a deep dive, and I could be like, "You're wrong. You're definitely wrong." No. Well, technically she's actually in the comics. She's ranked higher. She's a colonel. So she outranks him, and she tells him that
Colonel Harvey.
I outrank you, Captain. So piss off. But yeah, she's been a great character. There's a lot of people called Captain Marvel as well in the comics. There was the son of the original Captain, Marvel. Marvel in the comics was a male. In the film, Marvel is a female. Yes. Kind of makes more sense, really. But I'm glad they had a Marvel character. Got Monica Rambo,
and that's who Goose belonged to originally, isn't it? In the film, anyway. Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, and there's one of my favourites is Monica Rambeau, who's the first female Captain Marvel and the first black female Captain Marvel and the first female black leader of the Avengers as well. So big. She's the daughter of her best friend in the film, Monica. So I think
Yes.
Yeah. So the little girl who chooses the colours of her armour, the red and blue. That's Monica Rambeau. So I'm glad they kind of had that in there, and she's going to be in the Vision and Scarlet Witch show as well. So that's going to be.
Is she?
I don't know if she'll have superpowers or not. We'll see. But I really like that character.
Are there any notable dog characters in the Marvel universe? I can't think of any.
Do you remember the original Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
There's a dog in a spacesuit. Now he's called Cosmo, and he is a psychic and telekinetic Russian dog. So he was a cosmonaut. So the Russians shot him in space. He got lost, and he developed like superpowers. And then he runs this kind of like space station, and him and Rocket Raccoon like do not get on. So he kind of made a little bit of a cameo. His accent, he's written phonetically in the book, so you kind of see where the Russian accent comes in.
That's funny.
Speech bubbles and stuff. So yeah, fantastic, great choice, and you know, flying the Marvel flag, I like it.
Yeah, but again, another Disney film.
Yeah, technically,
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you've gone away from what you would consider like mainstream Disney.
Kind of. No, Marvel's very mainstream.
Well, now it is. Not when I was into it when I was like 6.
Back in the day, yeah. But no, that I like Goose.
That is.
That's right, rubbish.
Yeah.
But no, Goose, like a notable feline figure in the Marvel universe, flying the flag, like you say, for Marvel.
Not really. I've got kind of a crush on. I've got a comic book crush on a character called Tigra, who's kind of like a female tiger person. Yeah. She basically walks around in a bikini as well, so that probably is why I'm attracted to her a little bit.
Yeah, but that's not a proper feline. Not a domesticated cat /
No, not really. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there's any actual like proper cats. Not off the top of my head, apart from the one you've mentioned, apart from Goose and Chewie. No, I can't really think of one. I'm sure I could look it up. I know there's like cat people and like feline-ish characters, but not one not an actual like domesticated cat I can think of right now. Good.
I'll leave that one with you then.
No, that's good. I'll do some research. I'll let you know if I find any more. I'm sure there's one that's really obvious. I'm just going to hit myself when I come off of this and go like, oh no, that was the one I should have. Cool. Are you ready for the next bad cat?
Yeah, hit me.
Okay, so this is Mr. Tinkles.
Oh, Mr. Tinkles.
From Cats and Dogs.
Oh, God.
Not a great movie, I'll be honest. However, Mr. Tinkles is the highlight of the whole film. Like,
absolutely,
he's the best thing in the film. He's most entertaining. He's got the best lines. It's just the most fun you can have with this film is with Mr. Tinkles. Basically, the premise is quite, bizarre. Cats and dogs are super intelligent, can talk, and they have like rival spy organizations or terrorist and spy organizations going on. The cats want to take over the world because they've got to be villains, haven't they? The cats have got to be villains in this. Apparently, in the second one, there's non-villainous cats. I think in the sequel, they did make a sequel, believe it or not.
They did. I think I've seen the sequel, but I'm sure the cats are still bad. I can't remember.
I think there is a villainous cat, but I think there's like a hero cat as well, at least one.
Yes, I think you're right.
I've not seen the sequel. I kind of would if there was more Mr. Tinkles. But I hear he turns up as a kind of a Hannibal Lecter type, sort of a side character that helps the heroes by taking down the other villain. So I think that's cool. I do think that's pretty cool. He's played by Sean Hayes. So if you remember Will and Grace, Sean Hayes was just Jack. In Will and Grace, which I had quite a soft spot for back in the day when it was on. Outgoing for its time. There's not many gay sitcoms out at that time. Very progressive, so I appreciated it. But yeah, it's he's fantastic. He's just so funny. He's hilarious. Like every line, it's got this like arrogance and this seething hatred for everybody, and everything's wrong with the world. I'm going to change it. Like there's a bit at the
Has
end.
he got an accent? What's his accent?
It's not really an accent. It's basically just him doing like I didn't know it was him. In fact, the voice he had was so like strong. I was like, who is that guy? But no, he's kind of. It's very much like it's kind of a Dr. Evil-esque impression.
Yes.
Because I mean, obviously, he's kind of based on Mr. Bigglesworth and Blofeld. He's a white Persian cat. It's a very similar kind of thing. There's a great bit where he has this stupid henchman, and he sets fire to this room with Jeff Goldblum and his family, and it's a calico.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
As if I forgot that Jeff Goldblum's in the film.
He stars in it, yeah. So the whole plot of Mr. Tinkles is that Jeff Goldblum's trying to find a cure for dog allergies. And what Mr. Tinkles wants to do is reverse engineer that and make everyone allergic to dogs.
Genius.
And that's how you win the war between cats and dogs, apparently. But yeah, there's this bit where he sets fire to this room, all the family's in it, and the calico sidekick's about to come out, and he's like, he says. He's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, you need to stay here. And he's like, why? And he's like, because I hate you.
Oh my god, yeah, because I hate you.
And like he pretends to be his owner, who's like this disabled guy, and he's like, to this factory, and he's like, yes, hello, human workers. I'm not a cat attempting to take over the world. Goodbye.
Yes, because the owner can't talk. He's kind of in. Oh my god, very debilitated.
Catatonic. Oh, the puns. Oh, the cat puns.
Do you know, that was I've been doing some reading about cats in the media and how they're sort of misrepresented, and that was one of the films that someone had written, to say that this is, it's a really bad representation of cats, especially as it's, it's a child's film. But I watched that film and it made me love cats 10 million times more, if anything, because it's such a funny film. And Mr. Bigglesworth, what a character.
Mr. Tinkles, what a character, Mr. Tinkles.
Oh, Mr. Tinkles, Mr. Bigglesworth, but
right,
him.
To be fair, like Mr. Bigglesworth, before he loses his hair, does look exactly like him. So
yeah.
But I think he's brilliant. There's a deleted scene on YouTube or on the DVD where he's in different outfits and he's auditioning for different roles in different movies. So he's like saying lines from Casablanca and all that sort of stuff. But he does his own like twist on it, and it's hilarious. It's brilliant. When the sequel came out as well, on the press tour, they didn't interview the stars. They didn't interview people or anything. They interviewed Mr. Tinkles, like the press.
Oh wow!
And they interviewed with the puppet of Mr. Tinkles. And again, you can find that on YouTube as well, and I highly recommend it. You can watch the whole film, but you're just watching it for Mr. Tinkles. Fast forward it to the Mr. Tinkles bits if you want, because if I ever watch it again, that's what I will do, because it's just funny. I think it's the performance as well. I think it's the performance, it's the writing. It feels like a lot of it was improvised as well, so I imagine that's probably played out. But I think Sean Hayes was fantastic in the role, and I don't think I would have liked the film as much if he was not Mr. Tinkles or that character was not in the movie. But he's very much like the Bond villain. He's the most Bond-like villain I have on my list of villainous cats. But yeah, love that character. Brilliant.
Great choice. Thank
you very much. Are you ready for your next one?